Hello, friends. So excited to share chapter 23 with you, the primitive brain. I wanted to share a little bit about the primitive brain because this helps in understanding our behavior, which comes from our thinking, right? This totally helps understand more about us and why we do what we do. So the primitive brain is in all of us, and it's the part of our brain that likes habits. It wants to be efficient. It wants to avoid pain, and it wants to seek pleasure. Understanding these things just sheds more awareness and helps us override what our primitive brain is doing to create the habits that we want, to help us to get to this new version of us that we are desiring. Okay. So here's what it is doing, which again totally helps to understand knowledge is power. Okay. So this part of the brain wants to seek pleasure. It's seeking the dopamine hits that come from activities that are designed to be addictive in nature. These are things like Netflix, social media, processed foods and drinking. Processed foods have a lot of sugar in them, which is addictive in nature. Sodas, alcohol, and different things like that. Okay, so your brain is seeking those things for the dopamine, which is really a false pleasure coming from these sources. Okay, it wants to avoid pain. We don't put ourselves out there for new experiences because we might fail. We might have problems. We just want to avoid that pain that could happen. And we try to make everybody happy at our own expense, which never works, right? We avoid ending bad relationships, and we don't want to try new things because, again, we might fail. This part of our brain, the motivational triad of our primitive brain, wants us to be efficient. It likes things repeating over and over and over because it doesn't have to exert energy to think about it. And it's the part of our brain that's looking for the past for evidence of who we are instead of the future and who we want to be. And it's hard to change what we believe about ourselves because, again, that part of the brain just wants to be efficient, wants to keep making the same choices over and over. It's just easy. Keep believing that we're not good enough. It's not a problem, right? Okay, so this is the part of our brain that every time we think about the changes we need and want to make, our brain thinks of excuses and we rationalize our behavior. We fear what might happen if we fail, and this keeps us stuck. Okay, so this is the primitive brain. And next week, we're going to talk about overriding this primitive brain. This is the motivational triad, but we're going to talk about creating a new motivational triad by using the prefrontal cortex. So keep being aware of your choices, keep being aware of your thoughts, and know that you always have a choice, that you don't have to stay stuck, that you can keep moving forward by choosing the thought that you want to have win to help you get the results you want. Okay, it's so fun understanding more about ourselves. I like to think of this too, like this is our primitive brain is like a wild horse who wants to do whatever it wants, go wherever it wants, whenever it wants. You need to be the rider that gets on this wild horse. You need to be the one that trains this wild horse. And my friends, you can do that by planning, by starting to use your prefrontal cortex. All right, time to go. The dogs need to eat dinner. Okay, bye.